Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. Babe, I've got you, babe. I've got you, babe. Okay, campers, rise and shine. Don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you can expect hazardous travel later today. What with that blizzard thing?
That blizzard thing. Oh, well, I've got the National Weather Report right here. It says there's going to be a big blizzard thing.
Yes, there will. And you know what makes today especially exciting?
Especially cold.
Yes, especially cold. And I've lost the voice. Okay.
Go.
Especially cold.
Mm-hmm.
You said you're supposed to say especially cold.
I did already.
Okay. Is the question on everybody's lips?
They're chapped lips.
Yes, they're chapped lips. Will Phil come out and see a shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. It's
Groundcast Day. A Groundhog Day podcast. And this is...
We shake your hog out there, we.
And this is episode 46?
47?
What was the last one I uploaded? We don't even know anymore. Who cares?
Like sands through the hourglass, we've seen this movie too many times. This is episode 46. We've watched this movie 46 times.
Yep. And so this is episode 46. Today is Thursday, October 24th, 2019. We were recording a little bit late. Trump's still in office. And,
but we don't know for how much longer.
Until they drag him out, kicking and screaming. And, yeah, we watched Groundhog Day.
Again.
But we didn't record until today because,
let's just say...
I got tired or something.
Religious observance.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened. I was supposed to come here Saturday. I watched about half the movie, got all drunk, and decided I didn't want to watch it anymore. So then I watched the rest of it on Sunday.
Yeah, because you passed out, and then I told you, like, look, I just got back from this thing I had to go through all morning. I hurt. We're not doing this today.
Phil watching Jeopardy.gif.
Yeah.
It's pretty much me. I'm just watching and I'm like, yes. Blood sausage, I got it. Some people like blood sausage, don't care. So yeah, that was my watch. Before you ask, that was my watch. 2 days.
And soon our watch will end. Because this is episode 47. 46? 46.
We just did 46.
Yeah, 46.
And hopefully we go out better than Game of Thrones did.
Don't worry, Bobby. It's like the correct answer will be the one that is the most broken, who has the best, most interesting story.
And who would a better story than Randy the Broken? He's like, my back, I need to take off work again.
Yeah. So let's start with right here, right now.
Hold on a second. We need to do like an hour-long showcase of what we did after the show. And then I went on to do this. And then Randy went on to do that.
You know what? They literally saw the movie Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, saw that it had 20 endings, but not all the endings from the book, and then decided to do the same thing because we're the darker, grittier Tolkien.
But there was nothing really gritty about it either.
I know. It was actually very lighthearted and nonsensical. Wait, why did you send ghosts to the north when you're gonna go to the north? Because of the budget of the CGI.
But anyway, we're getting into our 5 minutes of off-topic discussion, so let's bring it back to Groundhog Day for a bit.
Always back to Groundhog Day. That's all that matters. So, I have to ask you, Bobby.
Don't ask me.
What did you think of the movie this week? How was your viewing? Like,
well,
as of watch 46.
Let's go to my notes.
I know, but I'm bringing back something old here. What do you think of the movie? How did you like it this week?
I didn't like it. I don't like this movie. I'm done with this movie.
As of the 46th watch here.
Now,
how
is
your
probably
feelings
the
for this
20th watch or so.
How has your feelings changed from the first time we watched it to now?
I used to think the movie was kind of a delight. I used to look forward to watching it on Groundhog Day. And that's all I would ever watch it. I would watch it on Groundhog Day, sometimes a couple of times in a row. But only once a year. Never any other day. And that, you know what? I should have kept it at that. Because now I don't think I'll ever watch it again in my life.
Whereas I'm going to get stuck in like, I don't know if I'll be able to live life without watching Groundhog Day. It separates my week. It's how I know that my week is over.
Good.
That I'll have watched Groundhog Day for the 1 millionth time.
Did you ever watch the whole thing of the play through that video game?
No, because every time I did, I got sick.
Oh, you got sick. Okay.
Like VR gives me sick.
Well, good thing I gave you a synopsis. Anyway.
And then the next question I had for you, Bobby, bringing back the oldies but the goodies.
Oh yeah.
What is your Groundhog Day?
My Groundhog Day is I'm not gonna dox myself too much, but go into my work because every day I go in and it feels like we ain't doing shit. We're just sitting there and the bosses are just dicking around. I want to actually do something, and we're literally just wasting our time. And I dread going in. I dread it. I actually would like to do something else now because I actually want to do something when I go in.
Don't worry, your contract will be up soon.
Yeah, I know. After this show is over. But right now I'm just going in and I feel like sometimes I'm just staring at a fucking wall. How about you?
I had come to the realization that podcasting is just one big Groundhog Day. Mm-hmm. It's always just simply a couple of guys, usually white. We're not white.
Two white guys.
We're not white.
But not
Two
us.
or more.
We're not white.
Talking because they think they're funny. Mm-hmm. Talking about movies.
About
talking
pop
about
culture.
Games, talking about pop culture. Popular culture. All in one tone.
Randy, can I give you a good yeah? And they all sound the same. Every guy in a podcast has that same nasally voice. It's like you must have it.
And that I'd also realized that fundamentally also that we are internally all Groundhog Day. That fundamentally people never change. Yeah, we are the same every day.
Maybe we're all just different iterations of the same person.
Because
doing the same podcast.
Because I had this weird thing.
One man wanted to do like 100,000 podcasts, and he like couldn't do them all, so he split himself into many alter egos in different universes.
I had a weird discovery this week that led me to believe that that's the case. We're all the same person. Like everybody who does a podcast is the exact same person.
Yep.
Because I didn't tell you this, I forgot to send you the link on this. But so stuff that we'll probably talk about later in the future had gotten me to log into Twitter. Mm-hmm. And you know how they have recommendations? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have a lot of Twitter followers. I hate social media. But I'm like, oh, hey, why are they recommending this guy? I haven't spoken to him since high school. Somebody that you would know as well, that you would have known him from elementary school.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Don't dox him. Is his name?
And then, on top of that, I'm like, why are they recommending me this podcast with 4 white guys talking about movies? And then
Groundhog Day?
No, none of them are Groundhog Day.
Good.
And then I realized that the reason why they both got mentioned is because he's on that podcast, and he's like on a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend's Twitter.
He does a podcast too?
He does a podcast.
Oh my god.
And I'm like,
and it's about movies too.
And I listened to it, I'm like, wow, this is exactly the same. It's like this is eerie that how much the more things change, the less people change, because it's like I remember this exact tone of voices, everything. I'm like, this is just weird. This is my Groundhog Day.
I've had my fill. I don't need any more.
I don't need any more podcasts. I don't need to watch this.
No, I don't need to hear his voice again. I've had my fill.
Yeah, but you had elementary school. I had enough through high school.
I had enough of that.
He was a good buddy. He was a good buddy. But I'm just like, holy cow.
Yeah, but he gets, you know.
Not that one.
Oh, no? Okay. Well, you'll have to tell me who it is later then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same one. I said.
Oh, yeah, him, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still like, you can only listen to him so long, and you're like, okay, I get it. I've heard everything you have to say. But,
That's why I'm just like, okay, I'm like, these are the type of conversation we used to have in high school, and I'm just like, man, this is just, people don't change. That's my Groundhog Day.
Everyone thinks they're Kevin Smith, and you can just make a slice of life about where you live,
you
and
know
how much your life sucks and is boring.
You know what?
Everyone wants to make Clerks.
Kevin Smith is the frickin' Groundhog Day of filmmaking. I used to love Kevin Smith, but every single one of his movies are the same.
Has been worse, actually.
I have enjoyed them, but I can't go back to them really. And I did enjoy.
Are we talking about his classic movies or his recent ones?
All of them. I've watched everything except for his Canadian trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, that was bad.
I refused to watch Tusk. I refused to watch Yoga Hosers.
I heard people review Yoga Hosers, and it made me laugh so hard. That's the most enjoyable to get out of it.
I'll ever see Moose Jaws.
No.
I'm thinking of seeing Jay and Silent Bob reboot because they're having his coming down and is doing a roadshow in Montreal.
Oh, really? I should go to that.
I was thinking of that,
on a gay date.
Yeah, maybe I won't go with you now because you always bring that up. But yeah.
Because one time you took me to see Life of Brian and you called it a gay date.
No, not really. We just like, oh, we're going to go see a movie. Okay. We're gonna go
You
see
were like,
Ryan.
he was like, I guess we're on a gay date right now, and I was like, okay.
But okay.
Anyway.
we have digressed far enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back on topic.
No, it was because we were talking about our personal Groundhog
but just
days.
finishing that on another podcast, I don't know if I should dox them, but they review Columbo, and they were just like,
No, it wouldn't be doxing you. It'd be
not
promoting
doxing,
them.
not doxing. I mean, I don't want to mention them by name.
Do you want to promote them? Do you like the podcast enough that
I do,
the
but
one person that listens to us?
No, but I also didn't promote that other one about Final Fantasy. So there you go. I don't mention.
You know what?
people's
Say
names.
it. Just say what the podcasts are. What's the Final Fantasy one that you like so
The Final
much?
Fantasy one is called "No One Can Know About This," and
Which is a significantly better title than Groundcast Day, a Groundhog Day podcast.
and this one I was listening to the Columbo one is called Columboys, and on it, like in one of the episodes, I can't remember which one it was because I listened to it on my MP3, my old school MP3 player.
So let me guess. It's about two white guys discussing popular culture.
Yeah, and that's what they literally say that. There was, I think in episode 1 they literally say that. That's where I got it from. But at or maybe it was one of those two podcasts who said that. Actually, I can't remember who. But anyway, at one point, Columboys was like, "Oh, is this a Columbo podcast where we have two guys watching Columbo, one of whom has seen every episode, and one of whom has never seen the show?" They're like, "No, that would be the other Columbo. That would be the Columbo podcast." He's like, "Oh, okay. Are we the?" It's like, well, at least we can be the only Columbo podcast based in the Seattle area. It's like, no, actually, there's another Columbo podcast based in the Seattle area, and like they just like went through all the list of all the other Columbo related podcasts.
Like I said, it's like what we're doing is Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we are doing the same thing. We are all fundamentally the same. And we're doing the thing, so that, like I said, we're not white. And that we're all doing everything.
Yeah, we added a little diversity to it. That's all we've done.
But we've never said what the diversity is.
Nope, and we never will.
Because somebody's afraid of being doxxed.
That's right. All right,
and that's because of his own mistakes he's made in the past on the people he's associated with.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, with my long rant of that, what I've been doing this week has been re-listening to Groundcast Day, a Groundhog Day podcast.
Okay.
And the reason why I was asking you these questions is that because these are things that we used to do as segments early on before we gave up on those.
Well,
including the regular segment of Where's Nancy, which we gave up on because we determined she's not in the movie.
And we determined she's not in that spot. And
then
spot.
How many times that we would both change our position on the police officer being on the train tracks or not.
That's gonna be our bit.
Until we frickin' did the Oliver Stone breakdown of JFK. This is how the shot happens.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I remember that one.
That was the map episode.
It was? So there you go. So let's read my notes, sir. Your notes, somebody's notes. And we gotta go a little longer because we talked, I think, over a little bit.
No,
we're
fine. That's fine on that. So, just some random things you had put out there.
This is my last watch from Saturday.
Yeah, this is from your last watch.
I
watched it Friday night, just in case we were going to be able to watch it because, like I said, I had that thing on Saturday morning.
All right, let's go through the notes.
So, when Phil says to Rita, "A leech got me," she doesn't even acknowledge it.
Yeah. Yeah, she just ignores him. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Actually, no, we've been doing your notes enough. I'm going to jump in with the thing I was pointing out to you last night.
Okay.
So, back to our personal mythology. Hallway ghost.
Oh, yeah.
So, how did he die?
Mm-hmm.
What was his job when he was living?
Mm-hmm.
And no, he wasn't the manager of the bed and breakfast.
No. Remember when I thought he worked there?
Yes, I do, because I've listened to the first, 10 episodes of the podcast.
I think we only came up with Hallway Ghost in, 26 or 30.
We were arguing about, what, does he work here in, episode 3. But yeah, so, who was Hallway Ghost before becoming a ghost? Was he a weatherman covering the Groundhog Festival? Mm-hmm. A salesman just passing through? Did he commit suicide?
Right, because we discussed this as well, because first of all, we know a couple of things about Hallway Ghost. Number one, he's staying at a bed and breakfast. He doesn't work there. He's staying there. So, obviously, he's not from town. Number two, he's wearing a nice suit. So, yeah, he could be another from another news station. But why don't we see him again at the festival?
They could only get the actor to come in for one day. He was a big-name actor that we don't know about, and that's it.
He didn't die.
He was the Bill Murray. He was, as Bill Murray is to Zombieland, he was to a Groundhog Day.
And he later died of a heart attack, so they couldn't get him back.
Maybe, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's that they filmed the movie 2 years after the original filming. They just put two movies together. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So how did he die? So who do you think he was before?
He fell down those fucking stairs, bro.
Is that why he's always on the stairs in the same spot, no matter the time?
He fell down those stairs. He was actually walking up the stairs. He tripped on his shoes, and his immense weight carried him down like Homer Simpson being the boulder in Indiana Jones parody in an earlier Simpsons episode, went tumbling down those stairs, and landed on his neck and broke it.
Yep. That would have made a loud noise if you
Really
were there.
traumatized Mrs. Lancaster. And that's it. And he didn't know he died because he fell backwards. He didn't know he was dead, and so there we go.
Why do you keep trailing off?
I don't know.
Because I'm watching the volume and you're going, no.
I'm not trying to trail off, but that's how my voice is coming out today.
Yeah. And then my last thing that I wanted to ask you, Bob.
So you agree he is dead?
That's how he says the hallway goes. So how did you not? That makes the most sense because I see him as too chipper to have committed suicide. Yeah, he didn't hang himself.
He wouldn't commit suicide.
But actually, then what was he? Was he a weatherman? Was he coming there for that, or was he like Ned? Is there secretly
maybe he was a weatherman before?
Is there secretly a insurance salesman convention? Also
No. He's not, because he asks Phil, "Hey, do you think there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter?" Wouldn't he know that if he was also weatherman?
It's like I said, I always go back to it just being small talk.
He comes to the fucking thing to sell stuff to all the weather people who are going to be there. He's like a merchant. He's got his little booth. He sells stuff.
But we didn't really see any booths there. Only in the February 1st
It's in the suitcase, Randy. It's in the suitcase. First
off, You got fixated on this in episode 2 or 3 about him having a bag. He never has a bag. He's never carrying his jacket.
Oh, he's not?
He's not carrying a bag.
Berenstain Bears.
He never was. We had this argument. And it's like I said, I'm laughing. I just want to see him. I want to see what the reactions are. So what I wanted to ask you next.
I don't know. Who cares?
Was, now that you've watched this movie 46 times, and you've seen this ending, the way that it ends, what would you have felt if the ending of the movie was what it was in the original script?
Right.
Where they wake up February 3rd, and Phil discovers that Rita's now going through a Groundhog Day moment.
Yeah, right. So after the scene where he picks her up and carries her over the... You know, it'd be nice if they did that after the credits. Like, after he picks her up over the thing, and they walk away, and what's the song that's playing?
It's almost like being in love.
I should know that by now. But anyway, after they go back into the Weatherman remix, and then it cuts, and then after the credits, and we just see him, Phil and Rita walking down that same street, and then Ned comes up, he's like, "Hey!" And then like whatever he says, Rita, what's her last name? We determined that in one episode.
I can't remember what her name is right now.
But it's like Phil Connors and Rita, whatever, and then she punches him in the face.
That was how it ends, yeah.
And then he's just like, "What the?" And she's like, and then, does she quip something like, does she say something to him?
Oh, she's actually very angry. She's obviously not in love with him. It's just she's very angry because she's fed up with living this over and over again. Yeah. Because where the script ends is where Phil, after the, this is the end of me, Rita. It's like he's like right before that, like that anger. Now, if this movie was made today,
if it ended there, I'd be happier because at least there'd be something like one more gag.
No, what I think the gag would be like in a modern context. So it wouldn't be Rita. We would get the mid credits sequence, and
after the blooper reel,
it would cut to
of Bill Murray screaming in pain as a groundhog bites his finger.
It would cut to the bar, and they would cut to the bartender. And it would just be a woman we've seen over and over throughout this movie.
Nancy. And he would say to her, and he would look at her, and he'd go, "For you, myth?" And then it would just cut to black. Okay.
Because he's gonna be giving her this. He's like, because it's gonna pull away, and you're gonna see all the drink already prepared. And he's gonna say, "For you, myth?" And then she's gonna say whatever her drink is. He's gonna go, because that's the reveal of he is stuck in a Groundhog Day loop. Mm-hmm. He knows everything, and then
he's the magical Negro.
And that, or was it gonna be Larry? Would have been the one stuck in the loop. Mm-hmm. Does Larry have kids?
We never find out. Not even in the play.
Do you think Larry's on the run from something? Is he running away from something?
He's a cameraman.
Yeah, but he left. He used to love going to Capistrano for the Swallows returning to Capistrano. Mm-hmm. That's not part of the Pennsylvania beat. So
no, he moved.
Why? What would the point? It's like, is he running away from something?
Yeah, why would he leave San Francisco? San Francisco is expensive to live in, man.
Is he? Like I said, that's what I'm saying. Does he have kids? Is he running away from that? Is he a deadbeat dad? What do you think about Larry? Like the scumminess of this guy. What do you think of Larry?
Well, we know he's single now, so he must, if anything, be divorced. Dead
yeah,
air.
maybe. So my next question for you is not to do with Larry. I'm just jumping around here because I'm just like I have all
Jump
these.
around.
Jump around. Yep. Jump around. So, if you were stuck in Punxsutawney in 1993
When I was
on February
8.
2nd, no, at the age of you are now, in the world of this film.
So if I was born
there,
earlier.
if you were stuck there, like Phil Connors,
Yep.
and you could only, who would you want to get to know?
Rape? Oh.
No, just get to know in the town of Punxsutawney. Which of the side characters would you want to spend a day with and getting to know everything about them? In a non-sexual way.
You mean in like multiple iterations of the
who would you want to know? Like
instead of Rita. Bartender?
You want to know? You want to know the secret history of the bartender?
Yeah, the old man.
You would think there's some good history there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could actually see that just based on that. I was gonna go back to say it's like I would try to.
But if we're assuming he's a looper and he doesn't count.
No, in my hypothetical here, in that you are transplanted to the world of Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day in Punxsutawney in '93.
Because how many interesting people are in that town, really, when you think about it?
Well, you could get to know the strange story of Debbie and Fred Kleiser, who both have the same last name and they're getting married. Or how about how about Ray, who paints soldiers and is gay, paints toy soldiers and is gay. Or how about the story of
I don't care if it's shit about
Pelagius
him.
the Wise? Have you heard the story of Pelagius the Wise?
Oh my god, maybe that's what I wanted to tell you earlier. Did you hear about the new Star Wars movie spoilers?
No, but I haven't watched any trailer for it, nothing.
Okay. Because
Star Wars, as much as I like it, has become my Groundhog Day. It's always the same thing.
Oh, I haven't watched episode 8, and I never will. But I read some spoilers about episode 9, and if they're true, the ending is so stupid.
Let's leave it for the.
It is so stupid that it makes the prequels look good. Anyway,
is there anything else you want to like? As I said, for me, I think I would want to.
Did somebody just open a door?
There's a ghost.
Okay.
For me, I think I would want to get to know. I think I would try to break the hallway ghost out of his loop. Like, really get into the nitty gritty of why he's there.
We don't have that much on him.
Yeah, it's the same thing as with his A Great Mystery. We've determined that he's a ghost. Mm-hmm. For us, he's a ghost. That is the truth. That is our truth. We are living our truth that he is a ghost. And it's like, if you would spend your time with the other looper to figure out his thing, so would he be pretending not to be? Why is he in there? Would he be pretending not to be in order to mess with you?
Exactly.
That's why I said it's like talk to this.
I kind of noticed that he's the only one who says different things all the time. I'd be like, wait a second.
And he's always has this knowing look of like, I know what you're doing. Oh, I had the drink ready for you right away. Oh, sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. It's all ready for you, and I got it ready in like 30 seconds.
You try ordering all different drinks, and every time he's already got it, you're like, wait a second, how the fuck is he doing this? Is he like super looping me? I'm a looper and he's a looper and he's like out looping me somehow.
I'm a looper. He's a looper. We're a looper.
Yeah, like could two loopers try to out loop each other and predict what each other's doing?
Well, time is a flat circle, so if the one looper pulls out a gun, blows his brain out before the other looper can pull out his gun to blame them, whose reality do you wind up in first for it to be looped? Does it diverge automatically? It's like I don't think you can loop over each other.
Exactly.
Okay, we have to go to the
spaghetti and
the
shit.
holy book about looping, and that is The Evil Loopers from Quantum Leap.
Okay.
Sorry, that's Evil Leapers. Never mind, disregard me. I forgot it's called Quantum Leap and not Quantum Loop.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyways.
Okay, Randy, let's get some more notes in before.
That's enough for tonight.
We haven't talked about the movie that much.
We did. We got into the nitty gritty. We talked about the podcast.
I wrote all those notes for nothing.
No, you wrote all those notes. So when you can just watch the movie tomorrow, you don't have to write more notes.
That's good.
You can just watch the movie.
All right, Randy's went a little off track, but whatever.
No, we were very much on track. I brought us down memory lane, and we looked at what our personal Groundhog's Day were.
Yep, that's true.
Which is really important at this point in the movie. Also, I still like this movie.
And this movie itself too is. And of itself has also become my Groundhog's Day, ironically, because I hate watching it.
So, do you think you would ever reach the point that
Where I
having
like
watched
it?
this movie again, where you have looped back around to enjoying?
Like,
this
are
film?
you saying like it's an old computer program where if you go so high you loop back down around to like 0?
No, I'm saying it's like Silent Bob stepping on a rake, and you laugh the first couple of times, and then you kind of get uncomfortable because it's kind of going on for too long, and then it starts getting really funny after the 19th or 20th rake.
I like how Kevin Smith is now the one stepping on rakes.
We're waiting for him to get back to a good movie.
Silent Bob stepping on a rake. Yeah. No, I don't think I can ever enjoy this movie again.
If
It
after
burned out like all the sensations in my brain.
If after the 50-second watch on February 2nd of 2020, it comes on TNT for the full day marathon, will you put it on in the background
No,
and
and
watch
you know
it?
why I won't?
Because
they're
you've
gonna-
had watched the movie 52 times?
No, because they'll have cut it for time and content and put commercials in it.
So wouldn't that be a different experience and thus better than watching the
No,
film on
because
its
it's
own?
just shorter. It's not a different. It's not like there's additional things in there. It's less things. And then I have to watch commercials in between it. Fuck that.
Because you began this podcast talking to say, it's like, I've watched this on multiple times in the same day on television.
On Groundhog Day.
On Groundhog Day. That's what I'm saying.
That's it. Never any other day.
So, it's like I said, that's why I said February 2nd, 2020, TNT. Would you put it on in the background?
Imagine if you were living every day and you wake up every day and it's always February 2nd and Groundhog Day is always on TV and that's the only channel that works.
And you're locked in your house and you
And
can't
there's
get
a
out.
blizzard outside. You can't go out.
Oh, boy.
Now we're getting meta.
Oh, boy. And you're locked in the house with Bobby and there's no food here. And then you got to eat them. You got to devour them even though I'm the one that has more flesh on my bones.
Even though you could clearly go for like a few weeks without food and be fine.
As long as I had water. As long as I had water.
Yeah, exactly. And there's snow outside, so.
But due to global warming, it's not going to eat the snow.
Okay.
Especially with all the people sending up wood smoke into the air.
By the way, I think we finally reached the true purpose of this podcast. Guys, we got to do something about global warming. Am I right? Come on. It's not right.
So I'll bring in a couple of things. So in the scene where we see Debbie and Fred, there's a guy in a hard hat that's in the background.
Yeah.
Why is he wearing the hard hat in the restaurant?
Yeah, why is he wearing that?
So remember that there's a scene that we've discussed maybe a couple of times. It's like not like recently, where in one of the shots where he's interacting with Ned, we see people working on the street. I think it has to do with that because the punch, according to our map episode, actually that street is right near the diner. So I think he's probably just on a break or he's just coming in from the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just whatever.
Yeah, he's got to be because he can't have been like working on a building or something. Like what he would have taken off the hard hat and left it there.
And now here is an example of the Mandela effect occurring within universe of the Groundhog Day.
Wow.
You brought up Rita is eating fudge in the chocolate shop.
Yep.
And later on she says she doesn't like fudge.
That's right.
So that was one of the keys for me earlier on when I started doing my spitballing the multiple Phil universe theory, where he's just leaping to a different body after every morning. And that universe, he's in one where Rita likes the fudge, and the other one he's in one where she doesn't. Because remember, he resets the list again where he goes, no white chocolate, no fudge. Even though he
And
earlier...
we went over why he would have said that when he's clearly had this date multiple times now.
Yep.
And he would have known about the fucking fudge by this point. I mean the white chocolate, yeah. No, it was the fudge.
And I can also kind of explain you
White
asked
chocolate.
or you wrote when Phil orders Jim Beam, ice water, his hand gesture is 90% Jim Beam.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because he's kind of an alcoholic. He's angry and he wants to get drunk, and he wants Jim.
For those of you at home who haven't seen the movie,
What are you doing here?
When he gestures, and by the way, Guy and Tim are like, we haven't watched the movie. I'm like, it's okay, just listen to episode 1 where I explain the whole plot, or I can just tell you the plot. By the way, we might be on the worst idea of all time podcast.
I was talking around it earlier.
There
That's
might
how
be a
I wanted to-
crossover at some point. But anyway, he gestures and he gives it like with his fingers, he gestures about 4 to 5 inches of Jim Beam, then like maybe half an inch to an inch of ice, and then water, half an inch to an inch of water. So it's like mostly alcohol.
And then a callback to that later is in the Jeopardy scene. He's very
Chugging it
obviously
straight. No
chugging-
ice.
Just chugging a whiskey straight
I sure
out
hope
the
he,
bottle.
I sure hope he chilled that. It's gonna be gross. At room temperature.
And yes, Bobby, Larry was saying that Phil was going to have sexual relations with that groundhog.
Come on, Larry.
That's why he calls him a pervert. It's the fact that that's where his mind first goes.
I just felt like he didn't need to say pervert. He just said, I could think of a few things. I felt like the line pervert was a little bit too on the nose.
And now, because we're edging to the 30-minute mark here,
Yeah.
let me lead off with this thought for you, Bobby.
And when a podcast lasts longer than 30 minutes, it's old.
Okay, now you maybe forgot what I was about to ask you.
Fuck.
So what happens if you lead a perfect day, get out of the loop, and then you maim or kill yourself?
Yeah.
What do you think happens, Bobby,
you're
when you're
stuck.
out of the loop?
You're stuck like that. So what if you had fucked up and been like, oh, like you know, you're trying to get that perfect speed run, and you're like, oh boy, I almost got it. Like you know how you keep doing it over and over, and you're like, oh, I was 99% the way there. Ah, fuck it, boom, and like every time you just kill yourself or you just whatever. So, like, what if you did it and you had it almost perfect in your mind, but in the loop's mind, you were right, so you get out of it, but then in your mind, since you thought it was wrong, you're just like, boom. So then, like, now there's no loop. You just killed yourself for nothing. Or maybe you survive and, like, now you're a vegetable for nothing. Because you didn't get it perfect according to your standards that you'd built up in your mind.
It's like the arbitrator of the game is kind of like, no, you were done like 15 minutes ago. You won.
Yep.
It would be like Phil and Rita after the snowstorm. It's almost like being in love, climbing over the gate, and he steps down, his foot touches, he slips, and he bashes his head against the fence, and he dies.
No, Randy. It would be more like if Phil had... I'm trying to think of the night before. On the date with Rita, after the party with the piano, if he carved the statue and everything, and then they kiss, and then he slips and falls, or like then he shoots himself in the head and dies, but he already broken the loop.
Well, actually, I think according to the rules of the thing, I think because it happened before 6 a.m., I think it would have looped over again.
Oh, so you have to make it to 6 for the loop to work?
I think that's what it was, is because remember, they go home and then they don't do anything, they just sleep together. Not sexually, they just spend the night in each other's company. And nothing happens, and then in the morning, that's when the day has changed. He's made it to a new day.
So even if you get to a perfect day, you still have to make it to 6 a.m.?
Yeah, because the day has been perfect, but you have to make it through the loop.
So if you kill yourself at 5:59, it's just going to loop again.
Yeah, because I don't think he can...
Even if you led a perfect day and it would have let you out of the loop, you can just keep killing yourself and staying in the loop.
Yeah, but if you've become a good person like Phil, that thought would never would have happened. Because at the end, he's just happy with himself and to be with her, and he doesn't care about anything.
Who the fuck is in control of the loop?
And with that thought, which is what I was leading around to, we'll continue that next week.
It's the God of the Bible.
By
By the way, this is, I'm going to be honest with you, this was like the ICP, Insane Clown Posse. It was all to lead you to Christianity. Hail Jesus. It was all just a covert operation to lead you to reading the Bible and learning that God is in control of all our destinies. Sorry, people.
So with that thought, because we didn't say this at the top, I'm Randy.
And this is Bobby.
And this is Bobby. And we're out of here.
And fucking magnets, how do they work? Fucking magnets, how do they work?